Hello Flosstube, I'm Kippy, the Academic Stitcher. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'd like to thank all of the new subscribers. I'm really excited. I'm nearly up to 500. That's a lot more than I thought would be interested. So I'm very glad you're here. This is a channel mostly about cross stitch. There's also quilting and occasionally there's some other things that come up, but mostly cross stitch and some quilting. So thanks so much for being a subscriber, for liking, all of those kind of things. I wanted to start today with the one FFO that I have. I've been stitching a lot, but not finishing much. This is January from, sorry about the glare. This is January from A Year of Celebrations by Hands-On Design. Finishing idea came from Priscilla. I think you can probably see. This is magnetic. So I got this at Hobby Lobby last year. I think last week or the week before, Chelsea said on their Flosstube that they couldn't find this tin anymore. It is really nice because the lid comes off and you can store, you can see my other one, the one other one that I have, you can store it in there, which is really nice. But they found one that was similar. She said it was in the pet section. And anyway, so not sure you can still find this tin, but Hobby Lobby may have something very, very similar. I did not add a ribbon to this. And the reason is I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it. I think that Priscilla showed on her Flosstube on Saturday that she did one for Chelsea and did one ribbon and put it up here on the top and rather than one for every time. And I may do something like that. I don't know. My deal with January is I like January. My birthday's in January. I love winter. I love cold weather. But I don't really decorate for I guess you could say January. I don't use a lot of things that are like, I know a lot of people use snowmen and all that kind of thing. And that's cute and wonderful. I just never have done that. I love Valentine's Day. And so as soon as I take my Christmas stuff down, I put Valentine's things up. And so I'm just not a huge, there's not a huge in between for me. So I don't really know. I did the January one because it was January, but I don't know what I'm going to do as far as where this one's going to go. Where I have the little tin sitting now, there are actually other Valentine's things there, so it's kind of out of place. So I don't know. We'll see. I've got Valentine's stuff everywhere, and it doesn't really match, but I don't want to put the February one up because it's not February yet. So if you've got some ideas, let me know what they are. How do you do that? Are you a Valentine person, or do you do the winter? I know that Priscilla and Chelsea asked that question a couple of weeks ago, and it was really interesting to see all of the responses. Because I personally, I love Valentine's Day. I think it's wonderful and sweet. So lots of Valentine things hanging out around here. Let's talk about whips. I think I'm like a lot of people. I took this 25 year hiatus from stitching, but when I stitched before, and when I started back up again in the beginning, I really was, I think, what everybody calls a monogamous stitcher. I worked on one project until it was done. I'm not a monogamous quilter. I have more quilting projects going than I even want to think about. But there were so many things going on and so many new charts coming out, and I don't know, it's just kind of the thing, I guess. You stitch something different every day. And so I was a little afraid to start that. because I know what my tendencies are in quilting, and I was afraid that it was going to be similar. And it is sort of tending that way, but I think I'm keeping it under a little bit better control, I guess you could say. Maybe not haul, but at least the actual beginning new projects. Just FYI, I am so excited about Mania. I can't stand it. I don't even know exactly if I'm going to do a new start every day. I think that's a little too much for me, but I don't know. But I'm still excited about it, and every time I get a new chart, I think, oh, this is perfect for Mania. So, and if not Mania, then Jolly July, which I fully intend to be all over that as well. But I have embraced the different projects going at the same time. So I will show you what I have. I want to start with our stitch along that is going right now, and that is Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. In case you haven't seen it, there you go. It is absolutely beautiful. Fall is my favorite time of year, and I really go all out fall decorating. So I saw this one, oh, it's been probably, I don't know, 8 months ago. Maybe it was when Priscilla showed it. I can't remember. But I've seen several stitchers who have done it, and I was very much interested in doing it. And someone said, how about a stitch along? And so let's do it. And so this is what I have so far. There we go. Whoops, sorry about that. There we go. I have the whole fence done, and I have some sunflowers and the beginnings of a little pumpkin patch, which I think are just wonderful. This is 28 count coffee tea dyed Monaco. I believe I started out with the tea dyed product itself, and then I coffee tea dyed it on top of that. So it's actually, I think because the light's shining on it, it's showing up a little bit lighter than it actually is in real life. It's pretty dark, and I'm okay with that. It also, I don't know if you can see, I don't think you can see, but it has little spots and stuff on it. I just think it's wonderful. It looks very vintage. And I am using the called for floss, except for wheat fields. I still have not been able to find wheat fields. I've looked at, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 shops, online and local shops. Not local here to me, but when I was in Dallas a couple of weeks ago, I looked there. No one has it. No one has it anywhere. So I'll have to find something else to substitute that one for, but everything else is the called for colors. So anyway, Cinnamon Stars. I haven't got to the stars yet. I start, usually I start at the bottom and work up, and of course all the stars are at the top. So that's Cinnamon Stars. The another stitch along that I am stitching with is Suffragette by Stitching with Sisterlies. If you don't follow them on Flosstube, oh, I highly recommend them. They're wonderful. And I love this one. I bought it maybe the middle of last year, probably when it was new, first came out. And I want to get this one done. I've neglected it a little bit over the past week. I have not stitched on it as much as I wanted to, but it is, I think, a little bit farther than it was the last time I had a Flosstube. So we've got our little Suffragette there. Her dress is finished, except for the trim at the bottom. And I posted on Instagram, I said, yeah, there's a mistake here, but I am not going back and fixing it. And I don't know if anyone ever said, oh yes, I see exactly where it is. What happened was the little crossbars on the F's are only supposed to have 2 and they have 3. So that's just not worth going back and fixing. Although I do like things to be spot on. No, if I had found it earlier, I would have fixed it. But I was already past them onto the next one before I realized that. I was like, not going back and fixing that. So, 2 other stitch alongs, and I think it's probably the stitch alongs that get me going on additional projects. If it were just me on my own, I might continue to work on one. But Stitching with the Sisterlies had this one going on, and Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts and Deborah from Canopied Stitches on Instagram have another stitch along going, and that is with the Anniversaries of the Heart series from Blackbird Designs. And I am stitching mine all in one piece, and I am stitching it on 40 count Winter Brew by R&R Reproductions. I saw this and I saw Olivia talk about it on her Flosstube, and I thought that's very, very pretty, but I didn't have a lot of interest in it simply because I had other things going on. And then when I was in Dallas, I went to the Stitch Niche in Arlington, and they had the entire piece, all their 14 charts, all stitched as one piece, and it was simply beautiful. And so I bought what I needed. I'm using the Call for Floss, and I am very, very pleased with how this is going. This is the first time I've ever tried to stitch on 40 count anything, and hopefully you can see this. I had almost, I would have finished this last night had I not had almost all of the border over there on the right hand side finished, almost finished, and I realized that I was off. And I tried to figure out how I could make it work, and it was not going to come out. Since I'm stitching this all as one piece, maybe if it had just been the one, I could have fudged it a little bit, but it was not going to work. So I had to rip all of that out. And so what I hoped would be finished by today is not. But, I was really curious. When I bought the floss, I thought, that does not look like the cover. So here's the cover, and here is the actual piece. And I am using the called for floss. It does not match up. And it could just be the lighting on this. But when you look at these in real life, they are not the same. And I think you can kind of tell that. I don't know if maybe they changed after they stitched this one up and they changed the floss colors, but I'm still very pleased with it. And because I saw it already finished, the whole piece, and that piece did use the called for colors, I knew it was going to be something that I really liked. I am using readers that are a half a step up from what I normally use, and I'm also using a magnifier with a light on it. I don't think I could do this without it, but I'm just so pleased with the way that's coming out, and I really am enjoying working on this piece. The linen, I've never used anything from R&R Reproductions before. The linen is so soft. The hand on it is simply beautiful, and I love the way it looks. I love the way the stitches feel. I'm just thrilled with it. I'm also using for the very first time, and I don't know if you can see this or not. Can you see? There we go. This is a ballpoint needle, and you can just barely see the little ball on the end. I think it's making a huge difference. They are not cheap. I will say that. This is the packaging. Okay, so Sullivan's Easy Guide Ball Tip Needle. There were 2 in the package and it was $8 for the package. So they're $4 a piece. However, I think that they are making working on this linen much easier. I've used linen before. I love working with even weaves of any kind and linens. So I'm very much used to stitching, what it looks like to stitch on those types of fabrics versus Aida, which I stitch on Aida too. But I think the ball tip needle is really helping on this small fabric. So if you haven't tried one of those needles, I would highly recommend it. It's been, I think, a big help for me. So when I finish this one, I'll be going to the next chart in that series, which is called Valentine Rose. I'm also going to wait because in the idea behind the Anniversaries of the Heart, and let me get the other one out so you can see, is see how they've gone in and they've put initials and dates and stuff. I think the idea is special people in your lives, special dates in your life, you stitch those initials and dates and names and relationships into the piece. And each one of them is more or less a month, like Snow Garden is January, and then obviously Valentine Rose is February. But they're not all so month centered that it wouldn't make sense to use a date that might be slightly different than the month that would fall in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I'm much farther into this piece, and I think I'm going to try to go back 2 generations in my family, to grandparents, and maybe 1 generation farther back. I don't know. It depends on how much space I have. But use those dates. I love family history, genealogy, and things like that. So I've got that information. And I think those are the names and dates I'm going to put on here. When I first decided to do this, I was going to put my children, my grandchildren, and I was going to have trouble, first of all, filling up the space because there were more spaces than I have people, and also I don't know, the way when I was sketching it out, it wasn't going to work. I don't know. But this is one reason I'm waiting until later, when I'm farther into this project, to decide for sure whose initials, what dates are going to go on to each one of these individual pieces. I'm also using the Anniversaries of the Heart to participate in Fat Quarter Shop's Parade of Homes for 2020. So I'm almost finished with the January. Like I said, I would have been finished if I hadn't had to rip that entire side out. Ugh. Okay, I'm also working on, I may have shown this in my last Flosstube, I don't remember. I'm working on the Snowy Chockful jar by Priscilla Blaine and Hands On Design. I've not been very motivated to work on this one. I think mostly because to me, snowmen are Christmassy, and so Christmas is past, and I'm on to Valentine's Day now. I wish that there was a Valentine Chockful jar. Oh, I would be all over that. So I doubt Priscilla watches, but Priscilla, if you do happen to see my video, please do a Valentine. Please do a heart. But I love it. I think the little snowmen are adorable. And I could not find the cover of that chart. It's here somewhere. But that is Snowy Chockful by Priscilla and Hands-On Design. The last whip that I have is also was also prompted by a quilt or a stitch along, and that is with Kimberly at Fat Quarter Shop. I am stitching Quilty Love by Lori Holt, and I do love the Valentine version, and I probably will stitch it at some point, but I thought by the time I got this going, I would probably not have it finished in enough time to really enjoy it for Valentine's Day this year. And so I am stitching it in black and white and a little bit of gray. This is a 28 count or 30. Oh, by the way, there's the sticker. It's still on there from 90, 92, something, from the yarn shop in Wichita Falls, Texas. It's 30 count Jobelin, Amaretto Jobelin. And so, whoops, backwards here. There we go. So sorry. I thought this would be very neutral, and I could keep it up all year. I don't know what exactly how I'm going to finish it yet. I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm going to do about the space in between. The pattern calls for Lori's rickrack, the mini rickrack, but I don't think I'm going to do that. This is stitched on 10 count, and I'm stitching on 30 count over 2, so it's 15 count. I don't think it would fit well, so I really don't know. I saw Kimberly showed on, I think it was on her Instagram, or Fat Quarter Shop, but Fat Quarter Shop cross stitch Instagram, that someone had done a satin stitch there, and I may do something like that. I don't really know yet, but I don't think I'm going to use the rickrack, simply because I don't think it would fit. So those are my whips. Moving on to haul, I think last time I told you I was waiting for a package from the Silver Needle in Tulsa, and that did finally come. It came later that afternoon. Since then, I've got one other thing, I think, from Fat Quarter Shop. I got these two from Little House Needleworks. There is Bessie and Louise and Henry. I just think these are so adorable. The little cow and the lamb. They fit my whole farmhouse decor so well. Not sure what I'm going to stitch these on yet. Don't even really know when I'm going to start, except probably, I said I see something is like, oh, there's a Mania start. Probably at least one of those. I also, I think I showed you Jingle Bells from the Caroling Berries, Erica Michaels, last time. I got a couple more of these, Star of Wonder and Silent Night. I love these. And again, these will either be Mania or probably Jolly July starts. And I'm really, there's some method to my madness, because let's say I decide to do even 10 or 15 Mania starts. I don't want to buy all of those all at once. So I'm trying to, I'm building up. Same thing for Jolly July. So rather than getting everything all at once and having a huge bill, spreading it out. So it's not quite so, it's not quite so shocking, I guess you could say. Another thing, and I got those from Silver Needle. Also from Silver Needle, I got the February wordplay with Thy Needle and Thread. I have had a real hard time finding these, and Silver Needle has all of them, and so I picked up February and July. I think I told you last time I love anything patriotic. This one is not as patriotic as I was hoping. It's more beach, and I am not a beach girl. It's okay. It's just not me. I prefer mountains. But it's July, and I'm looking forward to stitching that one. Now, I am not connected with the Silver Needle in Tulsa at all. I've just purchased things from them through the years, and they are very, very friendly, very nice. Someday I hope to actually visit the shop if I'm ever in Tulsa. I actually want to go on a road trip. I want to go on a road trip, go to Pioneer Woman's Mercantile and visit the ranch, and go to Silver Needle, and then go up to Missouri Star Quilt Company. That's a road trip I really want to go on. So, if anybody's in for a road trip starting in Texas, let me know, because I would love to do that. I don't know when, because I don't know when I would have time, but that would be a dream road trip for me. Sorry, I digress. Silver Needle. I bought what I did before at their New Year's Eve sale. If you're interested, they are having a Super Bowl sale as well this coming weekend. So the silverneedle.com, and I believe they're also on Facebook. I don't do Facebook, guys. I love Instagram, but I don't enjoy Facebook. So they may be there, but I know on Silver Needle, thesilverneedle.com, they have a Super Bowl sale, and it's a percentage off if you order. The earlier you order in the day, I believe it works this way. I know it was this way on New Year's Eve, but I believe the earlier you order in the day, the more the bigger percent off that you get off your whole order. So they're lovely people. It does, when they have big sales like this, it does take a little time to get your order. So just be patient. Give them probably a week at least to get your order mailed out. So don't order something that you're in a hurry for, but they have great stuff. They have just about anything you want, and you can get it for a percent off this weekend. So the other thing that I got from them at their New Year's Eve sale was Liberty's Welcome. And oops, let's see, I'm going to show it to you like this. Okay. This one is actually done with silks, and I don't know if I want to invest in all the silks that this would require, but heaven help me, I absolutely love this chart. It is huge. It is 349 wide by 211 high. This is a big chart. This would take a while to do, but if you're like me and you love anything red, white, and blue, go USA. This might be one that you would like. And again, you can get it for a percent off this weekend from Silver Needle. The other things I have going right now are a new block of the month. There's one by Sherry McConnell at A Quilting Life. She does one every year, and last year the one that she did, she offered in two different sizes, 12-inch and 8-inch, and I did the 8-inch. And I have the top put together. If you haven't seen it, I do have a picture of it on Instagram. I haven't had it quilted yet, but I will show you when I get it quilted. This year, she is doing 12-inch and 18-inch, and I'm doing the 12-inch versions. This is my block from Sherry's block of the month, January. I am using my Bonnie and Camille. I would say it's more of a stash than scraps. There are a lot of scraps in it, but I've also got a lot of fat quarters that I've just picked up here and there, and so I'm using those. I'm more or less using Sherry's colors that she is showing, but I'm using Bonnie and Camille fabrics. So that's one quilt along, or one block of the month that I'm working on. I'm also doing Moda blockheads. I have never done Moda blockheads before. I am very excited about this one. I don't know why. I'm determined to stay caught up. And these, while Sherry's come out once a month, Moda blockheads comes out once a week on Wednesdays. And if you're not familiar with Moda blockheads, the block for the week is posted by one of their designers on their blog. And I know last Wednesday, Sherry McConnell was the designer for the block that I'll show you in a minute. And I think we broke her blog. There were so many people trying to get to the page and download the pattern that it was jammed. And so you have to be patient, wait a little while. If you can't get on, they're available at 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning Central Time. If you wait until the afternoon, later in the afternoon, you'll probably have a much better chance of actually getting to the blog page. Next week, I can't remember who it is, but if you go to quiltinglife.com or corianderquilts.com, Corey Yoder had the first block, and this was Corey's block. And I am doing mine in Sherry and Chelsea fabric by Moda, and I do have lots of scraps of this. I'm doing their reds and blues, so I will have a red, white, and blue quilt when this is done. And I am doing the 8-inch version. There are it's way too much to go into for those of you, since mostly we're cross stitch, so I don't want to bore you with the quilting stuff. But if you go to Coriander Quilts or quiltinglife.com, there are links there that will tell you all about Moda blockheads. But I am doing the 8-inch version of these blocks, all red, white, and blue, Sherry and Chelsea fabric. That was the first week, and here is the second week. Sherry McConnell designed this block, and again, I am using Sherry and Chelsea fabrics, their reds and the light blues and the dark blues. The reds are more of an orangey red, which is different for me, but I love their fabrics. Of all of the designers, fabric designers out there, Sherry and Chelsea are probably my favorites. I love Bonnie and Camille as well. I also am wild about Minnick & Simpson, mostly because it's a lot of red, white, and blue. I picked up a stack of Minnick & Simpson charm packs and a piece of, I don't know, I think it was 4 yards of fabric for $50 about a week or so ago on Instagram. And I think that came from my friend Sterling Lebowski at a Sterling Quilt Company. She was doing a D-stash, and I saw that Minnick & Simpson stash, and I was like, yeah, that is so coming home with me. I'm also, I've got some ideas about what I want to do with that. I'm also starting the Derby House block of the month through Fat Quarter Shop. Yeah, I don't need more quilting stuff, but I cannot turn down the Minnick & Simpson because it's so beautiful. So I think as far as what I wanted to show you, that's it. I do have, I wanted to show you a couple of quilts that I have finished. And they are, I think I've probably shown, I know I've shown the black and white one on Instagram, but I wanted to show it here. I also have this Christmas quilt. It is a digitally printed panel on the front by Lella Boutique, and it's pieced on the back. So it's kind of opposite of what a quilt normally is. You normally piece the front, you have one piece on the back. This quilt is the panel on the front, and then the little tree fabric line by Lella Boutique on the back. Well, again, thank you so much for stopping by and sticking with me through all of my stuff. I hope that you found some things that inspire you, because I know that all of the channels that I watch on Flosstube inspire me, and so that's what I want to do for you. I hope you have a great day, and keep going on Cinnamon Stars. If you haven't joined us in the stitch along, please do, and put a comment down below. Let me know you're stitching with me. If you're on Instagram, leave me your Instagram name. I would love to follow along to see how you're doing. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in 2 weeks.